How's it going, man?
Hey,
Welcome to the Stone and Crane Show. First one.
yeah, here we are.
Nice. Excited?
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
Today we're going to be talking about the gut heart-wrenching Packers loss. Going over
Sure.
that. And then a little bit about the Pro Bowl. And then we'll go from there. Probably touch on some other stuff.
Yep, we'll touch up on both the championship games and then lead into the Pro Bowl
Yeah.
for sure. So, I guess let's start off with this Packers game, man.
Yeah, it's heartbroken to say the least, man.
Oh,
It's
for sure.
pretty rough. It's yeah. I don't know if you want to start with some of the things, or we can go down right off the bat with third down conversions on Tampa Bay side. Man, they were
That
cranking
first
them.
half. I think I texted you at one time, one moment in the game, they were 7 for 8.
Yeah,
I mean, start off the game like that, that's just, I mean, that's a dream start for any team. So I think they ended 9 for 14, so we did a little bit better there at the end, but wasn't
I
enough.
think it was most of that was the third, the third right, fourth quarter. Most of that right, the interceptions, and then
Yeah,
towards the end of that game they stopped them some stuff. But that first quarter, and then man, that first half was brutal. Going into those stuff, and then not being able to stop them, man, that was pretty heartbreaking.
yeah, for sure.
They
I mean,
going down, excuse me, going down 21-10 halftime, and
yeah, I mean, Tom Brady and Bucks first drive of the game, march 4 minutes, 4 minute march is all it took. Put 7 points on the board, start the game off.
two or three third downs on that drive, right? So
Yeah, 3. They scored on a third down. Yep.
scored on a third down, and that was that King. That's I mean the hard coverage play jumped pretty early, right? So it's the hard
Yeah.
coverage, but
It wasn't that play. I don't. That was a good play. Fuck. Mike Evans is tall dude. He's
yeah,
a good wide receiver. He played. Yeah, this game actually was probably a pretty bad game for him. I would assume.
a
He
lot of
dropped a lot of
dropbacks.
passes. He tipped a ball.
Yeah, he didn't play very good. Yeah, that was. I mean, it was a good route. It was a good play. I mean, Brady dropping dimes, man. So it was hard to do that. But I mean, a lot of third down conversions on that drive. It's hard to. You had a good chance to stop them right away. And then
Yeah,
Packers was only like the third time all season that they didn't get points on their opening drive.
yeah.
And
They
it
converted
was,
once and then went out after that.
yeah, when you do that, that's I know we talked a lot about before is Rodgers talked about it a bunch too. Is playing four-quarter football and then being consistent as much as they can, and they didn't look like that team.
No.
Credit to Tampa Bay, as much as you give them credit, it was fantastic the way they played. Pressure was insane. How much do you miss Bakhtiari on that? And
Yeah, that definitely came into play. Not having Bacteria out there for sure.
yeah, huge, huge. Because he was he just bull rushed all day that side. It was just insane how much you miss. Offensive line plays a big deal. So, but yeah, poor coverage. I think a lot of that they got. I know I talked a little bit about the week before. That if they didn't do, they had to play better coverage just in general, and they didn't. They still played bad coverage. I felt like in the secondary, and they got exposed a little bit, until the fourth, right, and then they
Yeah,
finally stepped up a little bit. But some of those tip balls, bad. One of the bad, just a bad throw by Brady, the one interception, the tip ball, and then the other one was a good play. So it's just some of that is what are you going to do, but. So you gotta get points off the turnovers, and you don't get points off turnovers. That's hard.
yeah.
When 3 points off
Bucks had
turnovers.
14 off 2 turnovers, and we had 3 off 3 turnovers.
The one is hard. I know we talked the interception at the end right before it at halftime.
Yeah,
There's no holding. There's no holding on that. We'll get back to that, but they turned right back around, and then they had the fourth down, and I thought that was just a great call by Arians to go and just go for it on fourth.
Oh yeah,
Because why kick
I
the
was
field goal right
surprised
here,
they
right
were gonna
there?
punt it with
Yeah.
like no time left.
Well, they were going to kick a
mean,
field goal because it would have been like a 47-yard field goal with like no time. I think there was like 20 seconds left, and it was just like, why kick? Why try to even kick it? Let's just go for it. You don't get the ball, then you leave them no time anyway. So it's just, I think it was one of those things.
Yeah, there was eight seconds on the clock when he threw that touchdown to Scotty Miller.
Yeah, but then right before that, there was like 20 seconds when they were going to kick the field goal, and then they got the first down because it was like fourth down, wasn't it?
Oh, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, because then they went for the fourth. They went for it on fourth.
Yep.
And then they got the fourth down, and then it was like the next play they went for it.
Yeah,
and then
yep.
Then he just ran that great route. He just burned him. He didn't run around. He just smoked him right up the field.
Yeah.
The Kings just standing there like, what are we gonna do? I don't know if that's a coverage call. I don't know what happened there. So I don't, I didn't really look much into it. If it's just bad defense or if it was a bad coverage call, because I don't know how they don't just play zone on that whole play. Why is he up playing man, and he just gets smoked? So I didn't look too much into that. But either way, it's just bad. The whole thing is bad.
Uh-huh.
But they turned it into points.
Looking at the advanced defense on the Packers, I think they credited that play specifically to actually Darnell Savage. He ended up taking the heat for that. I know King was covering him down low, but Savage should have been deep.
Oh, they gave it. They didn't. Okay.
Yep. So
the over the top
defense. Yeah, defense on Kevin King when thrown to Tom Brady went 5 for 8 for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
When throwing King's way, which that's not good.
Yeah. He was hurt like half the year, right? A couple of the year, I just had some injury problems and things like that. But I mean, I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, get past. I don't know how I feel about. I don't think he had a good game. I felt like there's some parts there, especially towards some of the other stuff. And then the fumble Jones had right at the start of the third quarter.
That was tough.
That was the one. That was the heartbroken one. That was you fumble and then they returned it to like the 10, something like that.
And then it was a one play touchdown. I'm pretty sure.
That's almost a give me. So
yeah.
That's a big 14-point swing because right there before half, it was 14-10, and then all of a sudden you're down 28-10 within just a couple plays, and what do you do? It's pretty quick. So.
Do what you can.
Yeah, and then,
defense definitely turned around. Offense had some things going, it just didn't work out.
Fell short. Fell short. That's just the thing is like they felt, they just fell short. That's all it was. It was a little too late when it came to some of the stuff. I didn't like the lack of urgency in the third after that play. They took them like 8 minutes to score in the third. I know we've talked about it. I know we disagree a little bit on like time management things, but like urgency is at certain times is good and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And you're down 28-10. You don't want to leave Brady too much time on the clock, but you also need to score the ball. And you have to get some points on the board a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And I felt like driving on the field. I know Rodgers likes to get every second off the clock before he hikes. And he said that he likes to take every second off before he hikes.
Packers by far led the league in time possession this year. In fact, they were an hour ahead of Tampa Bay in game time throughout the season, which is kind of crazy to think that the Packers offense was hanging on to the ball an hour longer than the Tampa Bay offense.
That
was a crazy stat.
They loved it. That's what they like to play. And that's why I know when we talk about it a little bit at the end of the half. Rodgers he's never played well rushing the ball, like urgency. You look at their history of the way he's played. He's not a good 2-minute drill guy. They're not good on he's just not good on rush, play, like going down the field fast. I need to stop, play, and I get that, and I understand that they have to do that, but I don't like the crunch time fourth quarter when you need to go up against Tom Brady like that. I felt like you should try to put as much points on third, and then try to go the other way.
I see what you're saying, but I don't agree. I think he did I think he did fine with the clock. I think the major issues that with even the limited time they had being down 18 points, they still had time to squeeze in 2 3 and outs and still make it a one-score game.
Sure, but that was with 2 interceptions.
Yeah. I mean, it was always when you're down 18 by then, it was always going to rely on the defense needing to make stops one way or another, which they did, and I commend them for doing that in the second half. But
yeah,
and you can't blame the defense for that first touchdown at the beginning of the half either. So in reality, our defense held Tampa Bay to just 3 points in the second half. So.
Mm-hmm. No, they played great. Really, I mean, realistically, it's just the 21 points is what you're really looking at, and even then are rough because I know what I'm talking about too is why was the pooch kicking, because they give him the ball twice at like the 45.
I know. I think I texted you. I was wondering why the hell Mason Crosby wasn't just kicking that fucker.
Well, they started the game off. They gave Brady the ball at the 45 to start the game. He drives right down the field. I just don't understand that. It baffles me. I don't know why. Some of the stuff like that, like throughout the whole game, there was just some stuff that made me think that they didn't play the football that I'd seen them play other games this year. I don't know if it was just the way Tampa Bay plays football, because I didn't watch any Tampa Bay games this year, so I don't, because I don't, me, I don't watch full games because I can't, because of just the way that they're called. And this was, to me, the officiating of this game was some of the best I've ever seen in my entire life.
I think it was some of the fairest.
Let them play.
Yeah.
They let him play the entire game until that last flag.
Yeah.
That call on that flag was called. They let that play the whole game.
Yeah.
There was so many holdings through that whole game, and hand fighting, there was so much crap through that whole game that was let go, and then you throw it at the end of the game. That's what's infuriating about that. But it happened. They called it. Brady's going to get that call at the end of the game. It's what's going to happen. We did some jokes with my brother about that Brady stared him down. When at the end of it, he stared that ref down and was like, why aren't you throwing the flag? And that's why it was so late. Yeah, because he's just like, he stared him down and was like, okay, now I'm throwing it. Because it's just one of those things. It was really late, and it's kind of crazy because we watched it. I thought it was I enjoyed it. It was one of the very few NFL games I really enjoyed because of the lack of flags.
Yeah, no, I realized there was no flags called. Like the beginning of the second quarter, I realized that we went a quarter without any flags. I was, interested in it. I was like, that's pretty cool, and I enjoyed it. And then the whole holding on, the first holding on Lizard King, Lazard.
Lazard, yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine. As long as you call the rest of the game, and they did that. They did that for up until the last few minutes of the game. But I was okay with how it was officiated. That's the only call I don't. They called other plays that basically had to be called. Helmet to helmet is always going to have to be called.
Yeah. Yeah, even that one. I mean, I could see the argument for the defender. You know what I mean? I see where he's coming from his point of view and stuff. I know what they have to call it as the officials. They have to call that play.
Yeah.
Where they're coming in. He's coming in at a certain speed. He lowers his head. I get where he's got to try to move his shoulder more. And I get where his argument is and stuff like that. But it's I get why they threw that flag. I still enjoyed the officiating of that game. I thought it was well done. And even in the game, they threw the flag. It is what it is. That one play is not why they lost the game.
No.
They lost the game because they went 2 3 and outs on turnovers. They had their chances to put 14 points on the board, only being down 5 points.
Yeah,
right?
that's...
Or at that time, it was a little more than that, but 8 points, I think, at that time. But you had a chance to put some points on the board, and you didn't. So that's where it's more frustrating. And there was a lot in that game. I don't think any one particular person choked. I don't think it was LaFleur on that not going for it on fourth. I agree with what he says. They had 3 downs to score, and they didn't. So kicked field goal. I get his argument for it, because you still have to get a stop, right? Because what if they do score, then they don't get the 2-point conversion.
It's the same as a field goal. I mean,
it's the same as a field goal.
Practically.
So I
At
mean, I
that
get
point,
where he comes, where his logic is behind it and stuff. But I still go for my opinion. You still go for it. Because if then you're still, then you get the argument you're still leaving Brady with 2.5 minutes left on the clock. A little over 2 minutes on the clock, and you're leaving the greatest quarterback of all time, one of the greatest 2-minute quarterbacks of all time, 2 minutes left on the clock. But your defense has played really well in the
yeah.
second half, so
I
and they
mean,
proved that they could have stopped them too because they
yeah,
essentially did. So it would, I don't know, it's one of those what ifs, right? Rogers talked about it yesterday, so it's a lot of what ifs, man, and you can't really do it. It's still heartbreaking, no matter any way you look at it.
for sure.
How
Yeah,
do you feel about that third not going for it on the third down, fourth down?
man. Was there 2 minutes 37 seconds? A lot of people were saying on, I think it was either second or that third one, when he ran outside. He had a little room. Doesn't look like he probably would have made it, but he definitely would have gained some yards. And he tried to, throw it into that tight gap to Adams that was closed super fucking quickly. If it was inside the 5, it'd been a go for it no matter what, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he would have made the rush.
No,
I
I
don't.
don't think so either.
Tampa Bay's defense would have closed on him quick.
Yeah, just as fast as it closed out on that pass. I mean,
Yeah, I don't. I don't. They're like the best defensive leagues at closing in on people, man. They don't. There's no way that this Aaron Rodgers is fast enough to get to that
no.
end
You
zone.
think? Speaking of that, I just got reminded that he went to Adams 3 straight plays, earlier in the game to Adams, and even on that third down, he ended up having Lazard open for an easy touchdown if you would have saw him. What do you think about that? What do you think about Aaron basically just having eyes for Adams in that regard?
I think that's the comfort level. You know, I think a lot of that goes into throughout his whole career with other players in general, and his comfort with Adams.
Yeah.
Lazard's drop balls, MVS's drop balls. I didn't see Big Bob was even out there on that play.
I don't know.
But you know, it's kind of hard to. I don't even know if he probably never even looked.
No,
you know how much I
for
talk
sure.
about,
He was waiting for Adams to get open.
yeah. So
And he
it's like he's one
he
of the-
threw it
hard
into a
just like-
spot that he thought only Adams could get it. It was higher than what he probably could have got it. Maybe if he or better positioning or something. But
the pocket was closing on him from like his right on that play. So I don't even know if he could have even had a second read down, and even when he was looking, because the play was designed for Adams, right? Because he ran that in and up and out, and so I don't even know if he would have noticed Lazard coming down low once that read was over, because it was always going to Adams no matter what. So I don't know, you know what I mean? Like if he would have even seen him once that pocket closed, if he would have been like, because I think once if he would have not thrown that, I think he would have taken a sack. Like I don't think he would have had time to stop and look and see Lazard, because that pocket was like immediately on him. Like it was majority of that whole game. He didn't have much time to do a lot of second guessing. So, which there was a lot of that in that red zone, which is hard to score in the red zone. There's just not a lot of room. So,
yeah,
it was hard to see them go that many times. I would have liked to see them go at Big Bob more.
for sure. I was looking at something interesting. You think with it, I guess they were going back. I like that they used Big Dog, Mercedes Lewis. They were using him a little early game and here and there. I was glad to see him getting some reps, but Tanya was only out there for 66% of their offensive snaps. So he's only out there 2/3 of the time. I don't know if that's just how the play calling happened. I don't know if that was splitting time through with Mercedes, but they've ran 2 tight ends, in plenty of plays. So I don't know what that was.
I think they use Mercedes a lot for blocking.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably had a lot to do with it, because how much pressure Tampa was getting. I know they were leaving Mercedes in a lot for blocking.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
I would agree because Tanyan he was a wide receiver in college, anyways. So
yeah.
he was just a big boy that they decided to push him to tight end. So, and you could
Yeah.
tell that. You can tell in his blocking abilities over the season that he's not the best blocker. He's been called on a couple holds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
maybe
he's
that
just-
has to do with
he's
it.
got hands, man. He's just really talented.
Yeah.
But he's still. They talked about it too. Like his offseason, he showed up and he was like, "All right, this is my role now." You know, when he completely transitioned to be completely better than what he was last year to this year. So he's just like, you know, and then 11 touchdowns. You know, just amazing in the red zone.
Yeah.
He's just open. He just finds open. So that's why I was kind of surprised they didn't drop a place for him. But I get it, man. You go to your best, right? You try to hit your best receiver. Devontae's the best in the league, you know. So you try to
Those
find
feet,
him.
man.
It's just really good, man. Tampa's just really good, dude. It's hard, dude. You know, Brady's the GOAT for a reason, man. And the guy he's a winner, and he brings winners with him. And that team is developed around him. And some of the play calling that Tampa had on some of those third downs were just brilliant play calling. You know, some of those screens they were setting up and the misdirection.
That screen
Right,
late
where-
game to Gronk after not being really
Oh, my
involved at
God.
all. Oh my God.
It's beautiful, man.
No one
Just-
fucking saw that shit coming.
No, it's just a beautiful run play, man. And because it was third and long.
It's one of those, as soon as Gronk caught it, I'm like, God fucking damn it, someone hit that
Yeah,
motherfucker. Take him down.
was just
And you
so
just see
bad,
miss. You know,
Yeah.
he's got blockers in front of him. He's like, God damn it.
Yeah, because they made it. Because he finally made a good tackle. I think it might have been King made a great tackle for a loss. And it was like 3rd and 13, and
Yeah,
I
it was
was like,
third
yes,
and
we're
long,
gonna
I'm
get another
pretty sure.
stop. You know, I'm like, all right, let's get another stop. It's gonna be good. They're gonna punt. Let's get some momentum, and then they
Those are
freaking
brutal.
hit with that beautiful. It was a misdirection to the left, screen back to the right to Gronk, and it was just blockers all day. And then you got Gronk, who's already really hard to tackle. So it was just, but it was just all day like that. On third downs, they were just really getting really good protection, and I mean, good for them. I don't think that the Packers drew up a really good blitz scheme. You know, they didn't really do that. I don't really think that was part of their game for most of the year anyway, blitzing. But they just weren't getting a lot of pressure.
I think they got 4 or 5 on Brady. And the one interception that Alexander had was definitely a pressure. The one that Evans, that was
lob.
short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about Alexander, he was passed to 4 times, had 2 picks.
Yeah, that dude is a.
No
Was that one with
catches,
the tip,
allowed
though,
no
right?
yards. What's
One
up?
was the tip. One was the tip, right?
One was the tip, and one was that Mike Evans one that.
Yeah.
Well, they were both Mike Evans.
Yeah.
One was tipped and one was thrown short.
He's a beast, man. I was looking at some stats the other day, and he's just like one of the best in business, man. He's
doing
nobody
great,
talks
man.
about him, right?
No,
He just gets left in the wayside, and
Yeah.
nobody thinks about him. So
well.
yeah, it's heartbreaking, man. I know a lot of people. Were,
I think
talking
the
about
best
it, but-
team won this game. The
Yeah.
most well-rounded. I mean,
Oh, well, just everything in general, man. You better coached, better game plan. You know, I mean, you think about it, man. LaFleur's only his second year coaching. He went back-to-back NFC championships.
dude, 26-6 regular season and 2-2, 3-2
Yeah,
playoffs, something like that.
and something like that. Yeah, but I mean, it just and everyone's going to probably give credit a lot to that. You know, he's got Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, but a lot of that's got to do with the way he coaches too, man.
Yeah. You say that,
that
but
whole-
the team wasn't that much different than it was, year before
Well,
when they went.
They've done a whole lot, man. They've brought in the office in general, man. They went out and they got some defensive players. They've tried to change some things, man. That offense is ran completely different than the way McCarthy ran it, man. Their schemes are better. Their running plays
It's
better.
fresh. It's new. It's different. I mean, that's always gonna work at first. I feel like. So I think as we keep going, we're gonna see. I mean, obviously through now 2 years. Usually it only takes a year for these guys to catch on. So for him to be able to do it again is, I mean, that's
Yeah,
another.
we'll see what next year brings. We'll see how the defenses start to read it a little more. We'll see.
Yeah.
But the playbook going to be more open too. We'll see. But I mean, really impressed with him, man. His ability to do things, So I mean, I don't. I like him, man. I like his mentality towards things. I think he's a good coach. I like the team. Team's good. There's a lot of free agents though, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Tanya's on a restricted free agent. Is a restricted free agent. Sorry. And then both Williams and Jones are free agents.
Yeah, the sad thing about Jones is, I mean, after that, I don't think you'll see him back.
No.
No, they might throw him something, but.
I mean, even though, Williams played some hero ball, he really ran the ball well when Jones got hurt and was out, but I still think Jones is a better running back for sure.
I think Jones is the way better running back.
Are you saying you think they're just gonna? You think they're gonna sign either of them?
I don't know. That's the thing. Is I don't.
You think they could let both of them go? You could see that happening.
Know.
You don't know.
I don't know. At this point, man, I honestly have no idea.
I don't see them.
The way they run their business, I have no idea what they'll do.
Yeah, it's tough to see.
They
got to bring Tanya
so
back,
insane in the offseason. They drafted a freaking quarterback in the first round, man. I have no idea what that front office is going to do with their players and their staff. I have no idea with what they might do with it. I mean, they have Dylan. The kid's got talent. I don't know if he's ready to take over the full load, in every down type of back. But I don't know if they'll throw that much money at what those guys might want,
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we can afford both of them if we want to keep other parts of our team together.
It's just the thing. I don't think they need to go out and search for another wide receiver. Unless somebody really good.
I like our three guys that we got. Yeah.
I don't think that they need to really throw money at anybody else. Unless Megatron wants to come out of retirement and play.
Isn't he up for Hall of Fame voting this year?
I don't know, man.
Bring back a Hall of Famer.
A couple catches per game, dude.
Oh god.
He might be in shape. You never know what he's doing.
I'm sure he is. I think I told you that. Forget who it was. It was some wide receiver that was fucking killing it. Anyways, let's move on to the other championship game, the Chiefs versus the Bills. I watched first few drives from both these teams live, and then I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. Obviously, said we were both kind of heartbroken from the Packers game, but I really, I was hoping it would be a close game. I knew Kansas City was gonna win, but I just wish they didn't win like this. I wish they would have made it close.
Like I said, I was literally after the game. I was so heartbroken, man. I was just done with football. I didn't really watch. I had it on my phone for a minute, and then I checked it out and then keep up on the score, and then that was all I had really anything to do with it. And then I watched the highlights the next day.
Yeah.
Kansas City's good, man. Really talented team.
Dude, Patrick Mahomes threw the ball 38 times, and 26 of those were targeted to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Because why not? Those two guys, man, we talk about how good Adams is and how good Tanya is and how good our guys is. These two guys, man, that's all you need on the field, man. With how fast Tyreek Hill is and how big Travis Kelce is, that is a dream scenario for Patrick Mahomes. And with a quarterback, that is...
Tyreek Hill, his vision and his speed is absolutely insane, man. Some of the plays he made after he catches the ball, he's always dangerous. I don't care where he's at on the field. I don't care how many people are around him. He catches the ball, and it's just like you're always scared. I'm like, what could happen? It's absolutely crazy, man. It's just absolutely nuts, man. He's so insane to watch.
113 yards after the catch. Tyreek Hill. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's so good, man.
172 on the day on just 9 receptions, man. That is...
It's just like, oh, you just pooch him the ball here, just little drop pass to him, and just watch him do his thing,
Let him
and
do his
he's just
thing, man.
on. And he's just because he's so fast. It's just there's just not many people with that kind of football speed, man. And a lot of it is his vision is just
Knowing where
you
to
know
run and
he doesn't. I don't. You don't see him too many times like take the quick way out. There was a lot of plays that I watched from the highlights where he could have just stepped out of bounds. And he didn't. He was like, well, there's 13 more yards that way. So he went back into the field to play to get the extra yards. And it's just like you just don't see that a lot with a lot of wide receivers, man. A lot of them were just like, oh, they're run out of bounds. That little guy's like, nah, man, I'm going to try to get the extra couple yards. Of course, there's plays where he's like, I'm going to get out of bounds and he'll run out. But man, that dude he's always willing to try. I feel like to get the extra yardage. So he's so talented, man.
yeah.
It's
When
frustrating to
you
watch.
when you double and triple that guy, it just leaves a big old target right down the middle.
Yeah,
Travis
down the
Kelce,
middle.
man.
It was
Holy crap.
almost
13
money.
receptions for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. I
Yeah.
mean,
And how many drop balls?
he missed 2. There was 2 targets that he didn't. I don't know if they were drops or not.
Yeah,
He had one
that's it.
drop. He had one
One
drop.
drop. That's what I mean. God, dude, the dude he's so good, man. He just doesn't. God, man, that dude is just good, And I like Mahomes, man. I'm a big Mahomes fan. That kid is just talented, man. He's just really good. He's everything you'd want. I mean, I've for the last couple of years talked about it, man. He's like Aaron Rodgers 2.0. He's got that same style, vision, speed. With him in the pocket, he has everything that Rodgers had, but he plays a lot of that same style and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. He's got the arm strength for it. He can
Sure
move
does.
in the pocket. He can move away. He's just really good, man. He's
Yep.
just really fun to watch. So yeah, it sucks for the Bills, man. I was rooting for them. I was hoping for the Bills. I like them, but you always root for the underdog. You want the little guys to go, just to kind of take out the big teams. But
Yeah, I mean,
maybe next year.
yeah. Allen, I mean, he played well. He didn't play super great. Let's see here. He was 28 for 48, which isn't super accurate. They're just missing a good mix of run game in there. I mean, he was the leading rusher at 7 rushes for 88 yards. Between the rest of the team, they had 11 carries for 41 yards
Yeah.
outside of Allen. I mean, you pair him up with a running back, you get those linemen and everybody a little closer. He's
Yeah.
going to start doing great things, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You get some good play action work out of him and stuff. They're a good team, man. I just hope they can keep it together and keep playing. It's just fun to see other teams do well, man. It's like watching them play good football. Teams like the Buffalo Bills and the Dolphins and things like that. And other teams other than the same old teams, play
Right.
good football. So,
That's
sweet.
that's Stephon Diggs' trade at the beginning of the year. I think that is definitely a step that most teams should be doing for their young quarterbacks. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. You get somebody out there that you can trust on every single play. I mean, it makes a world of difference.
Yep.
I think
Also-
that's
yeah.
contributed a little bit to the Bears' success this year. With having even Robinson, who isn't he's not a Diggs, he's not an Adams, he's not a Hill, but I think he did work for the Bears' passing game easily. And there's plenty of other examples of that.
Yeah, we'll show you talk about that. Like what a run game does for passing too, especially you bring up the Bears. I mean,
Yeah.
look at what their run game has done. Because when you got to have the whole package, in the game, especially if you look at the Packers and what they've done, what the run game did for their pass game. And the whole thing helps with all of it. You got to have everything, and especially with the way that the game's played nowadays, I feel like you got to have both sides of the football to win championships versus how I felt like it used to be a lot, like defense wins championships, but now the way the game's played is you got to have a really good offense
Yeah, I mean that's all these last
So,
four teams. I mean that's what they're all their best part of their games were all their offenses.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
don't you know
We'll see. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we'll touch on the matchup. I think next time, and
for sure we'll take a deep dive on Super Bowl stuff next week.
yeah, that's gonna be a fun one, man. The goat versus the new kid.
Yeah, it's be a fun one to watch. I'll definitely be watching it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a good
Regardless,
one.
would have been
Yeah,
nice having the boys out there, but
yeah. I mean, oh, of course, I would have loved to seen Rodgers versus either
Mahomes.
Mahomes or I would rather had the Bills versus Packers. That would have been awesome. Two small city teams playing each other would have been fun.
Hell yeah.
But Pro Bowl, man.
Pro Bowl
That's
time.
Pro Bowl. How are we Pro Bowl? Oh, the good old Pro Bowl. The
Let's
thing
get
nobody
into
cares
this.
about.
Let's do a little bit of a history rundown. Pro Bowl started up 1938. Back then, it was the winner of the league, the champions, versus the All Stars, which was the best of the rest. That went on for 38 to 42 until the war, at which point they stopped doing a lot of things. Um, it was interesting to see. I liked, back then, I liked that it was after, they did that after this too, but I liked that it was after the Super Bowl. We can get into that a little bit later. And also, it was cool to see. I don't know if I'd still like that, but seeing the championship team versus the best of the rest and see what would happen. Um, then from there, 1950 is when they started back up in the NFL at least. The AFL, which was a short-term league for 10 years between 1960 and 1970. They also had their own version of the Pro Bowl, which they did bring back. When they restarted it back in 1950, they did National versus American or East versus West. In the AFL, they did the same thing, East versus West, except in 1965, where they did the All-Stars versus the Bills. Eventually the AFL merged with the NFL, and then we had the AFC versus NFC for the Pro Bowl all the way up until 2013, where they tried this very interesting draft challenge between Rice and Sanders, and then Irving and Carter, and Irving and Rice. They eventually went back to AFC, NFC, which I'll definitely prefer the AFC versus NFC. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Did you like when they did that draft, or
I haven't paid attention to the Pro Bowl, man, since I was a little kid. I literally, I felt like for the most part, most of my adult life, I have just, I mean, like I feel like, oh, it's one of those. They give it to the people, and it's to me, it's not even because the players don't really care about it. I feel like
no?
so it's like, why should I care about it? We're like, so I haven't cared as much because they haven't cared. Where like almost or other sports, I feel like the players almost care a little bit more, or they participate at least a little bit more. Um, so like I feel like the draft thing might work a little bit better to get some more interesting things into it. I think, man, like I don't know, like for me to like well, the way that I thought about it, if you were to spice it up, is you do maybe like smaller games and like make it for charity or some sort of stuff because the NFL has the money, right, to like make these games for charity of some sort and do like 6v6 division stuff. So like instead of and then the winner of each game of the divisions play other divisions like bracket stuff. and then you have that, and then the NFC versus the AFC for the whole thing, and that's how you do your shit and work it out that way. Because like you just have the NFC North. We'll have you pick a captain of that team. We'll pick the best 6 players from the NFC North, and then they'll play the best players from the NFC East. And then those guys will play each other, and then they'll play the best players of the AFC or whatever. You know what I mean? Do it that route, and then do the winner freaking gets money and they donate to charity or whatever. Do so. I feel like 6v6 might lower the game. Make it in a smaller. Don't do a whole 100-yard field. Make it a smaller field. Maybe even just put flags on them or something. You don't have to do tackle. Make it something more so people can see their face, have more fun with it. I don't know, spruce it up more. I feel like it's just nobody cares because there's no big hits. They don't try anyway. You know what I mean? So there's nobody cares, and nobody gets to see their star quarterback. They only play like half a down. They go there, they throw like a pooch pass, and then they go and they're done. And it's like so.
It's because the guy. I mean, you're getting this year in reference. They picked three quarterbacks from each. Each side, and it's.
I just feel like that might be. I know they've done in the past. They've done like some celebrity flag stuff, and they've done some flag things in the past, and I know they've done things like that. I feel like maybe that might get some people more involved if they were like, hey, it's for charity, and we actually care. Like the players might actually care if they do like these smaller 6v6 type stuff, and because I know they do like the legend stuff sometimes, and they'll have like legend games and like the pre stuff because they'll do like the skills competitions, and that's where you get into some of the weirder stuff, and I'm okay with the skills competitions. I always enjoy those. I usually watch some of those on like YouTube and stuff and whatnot, or like ESPN the day before, and some of those are fun because you get some of the precision passing stuff, but even that, like, there's no. I feel like there's no hype for it, and then like there's no. Where I've talked about before, like with the hockey one, I feel like they care. Like at the end of the day, those guys like there's like some shit talking ability, or like with baseball, like the home run derby, like those guys, there's like some clout to it. Like I won the home run derby. I'm the man. For that at least that year, he's got that title, and they care. We're like, if you go out and you win the passing skills competition, nobody cares.
No.
So because one of the quarterbacks is probably going to the Super Bowl, so he's not even participating. So it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's another thing. I would like for the game to be after the Super Bowl. I think that would be an improvement. Because I don't think trying to squeeze it into this bye week that we have is necessary. I think a lot of people say it's just keep the football rhythm going on, but I don't think it's necessary. I mean, you could do anything else. Yeah. I think having it afterwards, letting, it doesn't even have to be the weekend after. You could push it back another week. I think you could have another bye. I think it could be 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. Those guys that were in the Super Bowl come back, play. Another big thing is in recent years they have brought it to Florida, and next year they want to do it in Las Vegas if they're able to. But before then they were doing it in Hawaii, and I think that's a better location than anywhere else, honestly. I think it serves as a bit of a vacation for the long season. I know people don't talk about it, but playing any sport or any high level sport like that is gonna wear you out.
It's a rough sport, man. It's hard. It's hard on those guys. I think what they do, they talk about. You could do legends. Tell me that there's not. You couldn't pay T.O. a little bit of something to come play a little flag football the week before the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? You couldn't get McAfee to come out, pooch some punts. You know what I mean? Throw a little bit of cash at him. People like those guys, you couldn't get him the week before the Super Bowl to come out and do something for charity. Those guys, everything looks good. You know what I mean? When you do stuff for charity for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All those guys will do something. there's a bunch of guys. You can get Jerry Rice to come out there and run some routes. You could do stuff week before the Super Bowl and call it Super Bowl week. You know what I mean? And you could throw it on TV. You got Super Bowl the week after, Pro Bowl. And you could run some things and do some stuff like that, just to make it more interesting. But it's hard, man, to get people to actually care about it. Would be rough because right now, this year, I know it's rough because of the coronavirus, but they're doing it with Madden, right? So they have this whole Madden thing happening, which is good on them. It's cool. It's a cool concept.
We'll get we'll get into that, but another thing I want to bring up is when they vote for these rosters.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with at all. So voting starts, at least this year, started from December 1st to December 17th. So when the voting stopped, December 17th, they had just played week 14 in the NFL. So they had 3 more weeks of playing time. And somebody like Tom Brady, who, as great as he is, somehow didn't make the Pro Bowl this year, threw 10 touchdowns in those last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And now you compare his stats to Kyle Murray's stats, who made the Pro Bowl instead of him. You wonder how in the world that happened. And, there's so many snubs. I mean, we could talk about big snubs between, Robert Tonyan, obviously, on the Packers, but there's other guys like Devin White for Tampa Bay. Another guy. Tampa Bay had 1 Pro Bowler this year, and they made the Super Bowl. You're telling me they only have 1 guy that was any good enough to make the Pro Bowl that everybody apparently makes?
It's insane, man, how it works. Yeah, because there was a few guys I looked it up. I can't remember all their names, but there was like at least like 10 or 11 guys that I had seen that had like some really crazy, like especially like some of the offensive line, defensive line guys.
It's crazy what you can do in those final 3 weeks, especially with, they say, some people, there was one team this year that rested players. That was Kansas City. But you got to figure all these teams are fighting even harder. They know everything is even stakes are higher. So players are playing better. So it just baffles me that that's not, those last 3 weeks aren't taken into consideration for what is supposed to be the whole season's best players.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's a weird voting system. It's a weird thing. It's a weird, because all the other, like every other league, it's like mid-season. They vote and then like mid-season and they do a whole
Football's
thing.
a little different with it only being 16 games, which I'm okay with it being afterwards.
Yeah.
But that just means I want the whole, I want the whole season considered for it.
Vote. They should vote after week 17.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like it's hard. I don't, because that's the thing is like you should just.
It's not like it takes a month for them to.
Yeah, we can't vote. Vote like week 17 happens. You got 4 weeks anyway. Like, vote. And tell these people you got 3 weeks. Like you can vote and tell these people that they made the Pro Bowl. It's you know what I mean. Like we don't know who the MVP is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. But you know who's in the Pro Bowl. But that doesn't make sense. It's almost you got the same type of stuff. That doesn't. You're telling me that they're arguing you don't know who the MVP is, but you know who all the other better players are. Like the stuff like that, it's crazy. So it's one of those weird things. Pro Bowl is so weird, man. It's such a weird thing. I don't know. I don't know how you make it better. I don't know how you vote for it. I don't know how you make it interesting or how you get people to care about it.
That's tough.
Weird. It's tough.
I think going back on doing those skills challenges, just incorporating new ones and finding the right ones to do,
Yeah, because they like I looked at some of the ones they had in the past, and it's like essentially like what they've always done is like precision passing, gridiron, for the quarterbacks, 1 minute accuracy drills, you gotta hit as many targets as possible, and the gridiron gauntlet, and then where players run the race, and they gotta it tests their speed and agility. in like fumble, scramble stuff, and then best hands. And then they got like they had one, I think it was last year, that thread the needle one, and they had like this head-to-head offense versus defense challenge. And it's just like they try to do new things every now and then. And then they had a dodgeball last year. So it's like, okay, cool. They try to do new stuff, but I didn't see that anywhere. Like, and I watch ESPN, but I never seen that advertised, for anything on stuff. So it's just like, like things like that. I feel like you could have at least tried to maybe advertise some of that stuff a little bit better, do some more stuff. Because I might have watched some of those pros throw dodgeballs at each other. Might have been kind of cool, but I
Yeah,
don't
they were
mind.
singing them around.
So I was thinking for people like me who I don't watch a whole lot of ESPN, but I do watch it here and there, but I didn't see it anywhere. So it's just like to me it's kind of one of those things. It's kind of hard. So it's just I don't know what kind of skills competition you do. Honestly, man, I think it would be fun to see you take the 5 fastest players and you throw them on the 0 yard line, and you let them race. Stuff like that, man.
Yeah, they used to have that. They used to do a 40-yard dash back in the day.
Like were they next to each other, or were they just let them
Yeah.
sprint? Yeah.
Yeah, they line up a bunch of guys.
Yeah. See, I don't remember that at all. I don't remember seeing that any of that stuff. So there's
Found
stuff
in
like
all
that.
my research.
Found out in your research. What year was that? 1942.
No, it was 2000s.
Running down the road. Where are they running? 5.9 40-yard dashes? That's not fun. Bunch of Tom Brady's out there running the moon.
Oh no.
7.8 40-yard dashes.
Okay. Let's get into this year's Pro Bowl. So this year they're doing the whole Madden thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing some head-to-heads, this week. Kind of players, random players. I shouldn't say exactly random. They picked, obvious Pro Bowlers and people that would want to do it. But for the main event, it's a little weird. So they got 4 people on each team, and each player on their team is going to play a quarter of the game, So
Okay.
For the AFC, they got Deshaun Watson and Derrick Henry. And then they also, I forgot to mention, they put 2 celebrities with each team. So
right.
For the AFC, they got Snoop Dogg
Yeah.
and Keyshawn Johnson. And then for the NFC, they got Kyle Murray, Jamal Adams players. And then got Bubba Wallace, and they're bringing back Marshawn Lynch. That should be fun. That should be fun to watch, man.
It'd be fun. Yeah, I'd probably watch that. But I watch streamers. You know what I mean? So I watched Dr. Disrespect play Snoop on each other against Madden. So
Yep, they will be streamed on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
Okay.
And then it's not going to go live on television, but it will be on the NFL Network later, 8 p.m. Sunday, and also at noon on Monday.
Oh, so it won't be live?
No. I don't know why. They're playing it the same day, 5 hours later. Probably got to call Snoop Dogg's crap out of there.
Can't have Snoop live, huh? Snoop
Yeah, between him and Marshawn, man, I don't know.
Snoop and Marshawn can't be
Good thing
live.
they're not on the same team, man. Holy hell.
Yeah, because
I hope they play against each other, though. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, man. That Dr. Disrespect and Snoop Madden game was pretty hilarious, man. So that'd be pretty fun. That might be interesting to watch, man. I might give it a
Oh, yeah, I'll
quick
probably watch. I don't know if I'll watch it, but I'll watch highlights or something.
Yeah, I'll probably just watch highlights of it. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I'd get bored pretty quick, but I'm not a big Madden fan, so. But
It's only 6-minute quarters. I don't think it'll be that long.
yeah, I don't. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, it's good for them, man. Try something different. I've watched some of the other things that the other sports have tried to do, but
Michael Strahan will be hosting it.
Yeah, probably that guy's everywhere.
It's because he
Who
can
knows?
fit everything in between his teeth.
Greatest, one of the greatest sack guys of all time. Every freaking news TV show created. Strahan, man. What a talented individual that man is. Turn on my television, Michael Strahan's on and pops up like the boogeyman. It's everywhere. Gotta love
Oh
that
my
guy.
gosh.
But yeah, man, that was pretty good stuff. I think pretty much covered most things, man.
Yeah. Talked about the Pro Bowl. I'm blue
Yeah,
now.
you're blue. Oh,
It's getting dark.
it's getting dark.
Getting dark outside. I've had these cop lights on for like since we started streaming. I don't know why.
Oh.
They got lights going on outside. I don't know what's going on. Like 10 minutes into the stream, I noticed it. I'm like, well, I can't check that out right now.
Can't be much going on there.
Well, I guess thanks for everyone that was listening today.
Yeah, man. Thanks, everybody.
We'll be talking about Super Bowl next week. And anything else we come up with.
I'm sure we'll come up
We
with
did a
some
pretty
stuff.
good job of staying on topic. I'm pretty proud of us.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. No rambling. Not as much rambling this time around here.
Okay. Catch y'all later.
Thanks. Take care. Love everybody.
Bye.